Hello and welcome to Amazing News. I'm your hostess Hawasise, and today we're going to be taking a look at the underground infrastructure of the city of Septic. With us today we have two special guests. Please welcome Mahi Barbani and Noglu Ate.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Alright. Is it okay if we start off with the Hyperloop system you guys have developed?
Of course.
Yeah, well, we wanted to incorporate a Hyperloop system underground to reduce traffic above city and to also use the ground beneath our feet.
Yup, we also have our plastic sensing security in order to make sure that no plastic enters our city.
Well, how does this plastic sensing security work?
Well, it's built into the security system so that when you walk through, like the ones in the airport, it senses if you have plastic on you, and if you do, you have to take it out and throw it away.
Well, how exactly does this Hyperloop work?
The Hyperloop, though similar to the maglev, is a bit different. It's a pod that travels through a vacuum chamber so that air resistance doesn't slow down.
Interesting. So with no air resistance, it still goes extremely fast. Interesting. Well, I'm looking at your model here and I see different shaped things with tubes in them. I'm assuming these are the water supplies.
That is correct. These locations are where a septic's underground self-filtration water reservoirs are. Since there is not much water above a septic, we have to pull water from underneath.
Well, how do you guys filter with the self-filters?
Self-filtration basically works with pressurized filtration. So from underneath, from the very bottom, we have the water be pushed through our self-filtration system, and that results in clean water coming out from the top.
I also see this network of wires or wire-like tubes. How does this work? What does this do?
These wires connect to electrical poles above ground. It has a rather high turbine that you see distributes the electricity that comes from the solar panels in the industrial zone. The lower one collects the extra electricity that is generated from these solar panels on buildings and brings it back to the central station for later use if necessary.
Right, since the septic has a tropical climate, you might never know what can happen.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like we're running out of time. I would like for you guys to thank our engineers here explaining what their model really is and explaining what happens in the septic city.
Many minutes later.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Amazing News. I'm your host, Maglu Ate, and today we would like to continue off where Hawa left off. I would like to introduce one of our new engineers, Miss Cisse.
Hello.
Now, I think we left off talking about the electricity.
Correct.
Yes. I don't see any electric poles anywhere on your model. Could you please help me out?
Well, actually, we do have electric poles, but these aren't the electric poles you're used to. You see, these are called infopoles. We have multiple infopoles strategically placed throughout the city. These poles can send and receive electricity within the air. The best thing about them is that they can even charge devices.
Wow, that's amazing. The central station seems like the star of the city.
And well, it sort of is this. The central station is the heart of the city. It has almost everything from tourist attractions to governmental offices to five-star restaurants.
Yep. On top, you can see the light bulb, our greatest tourist attraction. And with an electric distributor, it is surrounded by cafes, restaurants, and walking trails and more.
And since it's such an accessible location via transport through the maglev train, it is a hotspot for tourists and city residents. This is also like our airport for travelers to get a warm welcome and exit via the elevator and go below the ground to travel outside of the city.
What is the maglev again?
The maglev is our above ground city transportation for residents to be able to get through the city freely. Though it is smaller compared to the Hyperloop, it is above ground and moves a tad bit slower so that it's safer for the residents.
Well, I see some other things hidden behind these buildings. What is that? What are the buildings as well? What is their significance? But interesting. Well, let's move on to this grassy area. What is that?
This is our residential zone. As you can see, we have a lot of greenery and 2 hills.
Yeah, I can see that there's 2. Is there a difference between those hills by any chance? Because to my knowledge, there are no natural hills in a septic.
Yes, actually the larger and higher hill is for our lower and medium class crew, while the lower hill is for our upper class crew. We have purposely designed our hills this way because we want to break the misconception that rich are better and they are hard, and that the poor are worse and below. We want to show you that in aseptic, no matter what your race, gender, ethnicity, or etc., everyone is human and shouldn't be treated as a god just because they have more money.
I like that.
Yeah, our original idea for having a hill where people's homes are was to be able to show our residents our amazing city every single day and to motivate them to go outside and enter the city.
Right. Well, how about these two other buildings over here? What are they?
One of them is the water park in the summer and a ski park in the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, this one over here is our temporary trio. The top is our college, middle is high and middle school, and the bottom is elementary and pre-K.
I see you guys have some trees in these buildings.
That's correct. Our goal at Aseptic, as you have probably guessed, is to connect people to the earth in many ways as possible.
Oh, look at that. I'm losing some time. Let's move on here where all these buildings are.
Well, this is our commercial zone. Since we've already talked about the central station, I would like to welcome you to the Aseptic's tallest building, City Center Aseptic. This is our industrial zone. We have the main collection building for our PFAS system around the city. The main feature of the industrial zone is the mycelium fields. These mycelium fields have mushrooms grown and creates the mycelium for natural and everyday uses used in our city.
Wow, thank you for explaining your amazing city to us, and I would like to say thank you again to all of our watchers for watching us today. Have a good day. I'm Mavu Ate, your host from Mason News.